I'm going to show you an incredible sound design technique where you can create way more interesting and expressive patterns for your synth lines, and also your drums for that matter as well. You can apply it to everything, and that is using velocity in your MIDI clips. So let's dive into Ableton. Here we are. I have loaded up my track Mirage and deleted some elements, and now it's just the drums and bass. Okay, so I've got this pluck sound in Serum, and what I'm going to do is map velocity to certain parameters I want to control. Now, this is going to be dependent on the sound you have. With Serum, you can map it to literally anything, but with this pluck sound, what I'm going to want to do is have velocity control how bright the sound is. So I'm going to drag it up over here, so you start the modulation amount. I'm going to drop the filter down a bit darker, and then open up this amount here. So now if I press the note quietly, let's make it a little bit darker here. Then if I press it hard, it becomes brighter. Now, I'm also going to map this velocity to the sustain of the filter envelope, the release, and probably a little bit of decay as well. Yeah. And I'm also going to do this on the volume envelope, envelope 1. So sustain, a little bit of that, a little bit of release on the envelope, and a little bit of decay as well, just a little bit. Now, when I press the note softly, it's going to be tighter and darker. When I press it hard, it's going to be brighter and longer. And I might even drop this decay amount down just to emphasize this even more. Let's make the filter decay a bit tighter as well. That's soft velocity and then loud. Like, there's a lot of expression I can get out of just playing different velocity notes, right? So using this concept, let's just create to start off with, I'm going to show you a few examples of how you can apply this. You can apply it to, like, rhythmic plucks, rolling bass lines, arps, melodies, and pretty much everything. But let's just start off with, like, a basic rhythmic pluck. So what I'm going to do here is, let's just have a rhythmic pluck following the chord progression. I'm just going to do something on, like, dotted eighth notes. This is how it sounds without any... Right? Pretty standard. But let's create more expression. So maybe we have, like, bum. The way I do this is I kind of just, like, mouth or, like, kind of say how I want the sound to be. Which does make me look insane, but it's an easy way for me to process it. So higher velocity means brighter and longer. Shorter velocity means darker and shorter. I want it to go boom, bam, bow, boom, boom, bum, bum, something like that. And then let's maybe do that, but we could drop the amounts down here. Then emphasize that one a little bit more. And then let's just copy this over. And put that down there. So now take a listen to how this sounds with the velocity being modulated. Way more expressive. And with using this concept, you can, like, express the sound in the way that you want very simply. Just, like, click and drag the velocity up. You can click a note and click down here, or you can press command or hold command and click and drag on the note itself. But that's a pretty basic example, right? But you could, like, I don't know, if you were to do a rhythmic motif or something, which is quite common in styles like this, you could then express it a lot more. So maybe we come up with, like, a little motif. Just, like, repeat this little motif over again, like so. But it's kind of boring at the moment, but when we add the velocity, this is going to become way more interesting. Maybe we like... Oh. Already getting more exciting, and then this time around, more expressive. Something like that. Something like that. Let's just duplicate this over and see what it sounds like. And then maybe this time around towards the end, we can bump all the values up a little bit. Just highlight them, just to create a bit more tension. Something like that. So now take a listen to this. Compared to how it sounded before, it's going to be way more expressive. And then towards the end of the last 2 bars, we're like increasing more of that to create more tension. May have overcooked the last bit a bit, but you get the idea, right? It's really, really simple, but it's just made that so much more dynamic, so much more expressive, and just feels a lot more sophisticated. And all we did was just play with the velocity, basically, having mapped it to certain parameters we want to control. You can also do this with ARPs as well. So, for example, let's just create something pretty basic, like a little 16th note ARP, maybe something like that. Over. Right, now you can do something quite interesting here is with the ramp feature down here, you can use it to create a ramp or ramp up the velocity. So for example, highlight everything and then you can create ramp, so down and up. So if we put this all the way to the top here, this is just gonna like increase in tension over time. And then over here, we could have it like coming out. So let's maybe go down for an inverse ramp here. And then here we can ramp it back up again. Like so. We probably want to... There we go. Let's just bring it up to the top. There we go. And then maybe these last few notes, we can start to ramp down, like so it doesn't sound too crazy. But listen to how this is going to evolve over time. Right? It's kind of simple when you think about it, but you can do stuff like that, which is just going to make your music a lot more expressive and interesting. And you can do it with like more complicated melodies. You can do it with like rolling patterns as well. So, for example, if you were to have like a rolling kind of rhythm like this, just on 16th notes, let's just take this over. What you could do is use it to create like a more expressive pattern. So duh, duh, bow, boom, do, bow, something like that. Way more expressive. Let's just duplicate this over a bunch of times. And now listen to this. Creates so much groove, even though like we're just playing with velocity, right? And yeah, it does get a bit crazy, so let's maybe drop it all down a bit. Or maybe increase. So you kind of get the concept, right? You can use it to make your patterns more exciting, and like you can use it with more complicated melodies as well. For example, I'll just bring one in. I've gone through and added in the velocity modulation. Take a listen to it now. Compared to how it was before. Night and day difference, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, I hope you get the concept here and can go and experiment in your own way of doing this. You can do it with pretty much any synth. Serum's probably the best to do it with because you can modulate practically anything with any parameters, have a lot of fun with it and be quite imaginative. But you can do it with other synths as well. You can do it with Diva. It's just not as flexible as Serum, but concept is use velocity to play with stuff over time and create way more expressive patterns. So I hope you learned some cool stuff. Go and use and abuse velocity to your heart's content. You'll see an immediate like uplift in the quality of your music from doing stuff like this. I tell you, most people don't do this, and the people that get the best results are people that do things that most people aren't doing. And if you want to learn more cool things like this in the full workflow of creating a track from start to finish, in our professional house and techno producer program, we teach you everything you're going to need to know. So stuff like this and way more in-depth things, how you can apply it to every step of the process in production, from the writing phase, sound design, mixing, mastering, arrangement, and basically everything you're going to need to finish and release a pro-level track every single week. Once you learn this workflow, that's going to really stand out to the labels that you send them to fans, to other DJs. They're going to want to play it. And also we'll show you how to grow an audience and market your music. So if you want to learn more about that, there's a link in the description where you can watch a video which explains exactly how it all works, what it's about, what you get, and how it all unfolds over time. Now, I will say this is for serious people only, so it's not for hobbyists. It is a high-level coaching program and is tailored. It's not a cookie-cutter approach. So it does come at some investment, but we do have ways of breaking it down. But if you're serious about it, go check that video out, and then you can book a call with myself or Tim, and we will chat with you and see if we can bring you on. Otherwise, hit that subscribe, hit that like button, comment what you found the most useful, and if you want me to cover a topic, then comment. I read all the comments, and otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.